Hello, YouTube! I am Pinstar, and this is Oxygen Not Included Strategy and Tactics, Episode 1. So, Oxygen Not Included, you guys have been asking for this one for a while, and I've been playing it like crazy, developing strategies, starting builds, and other management tips, which I will be sharing with you today and in this series. So, without any further ado, shall we begin? I think we shall. New game. Now, as far as our duplicants, yes, I did do an episode 0 in this series talking specifically about your 3 starting dupes. Things have changed. Strategies have changed just a little bit. So I have a few adjustments to the tips that I gave you in that original video that we will be abiding by with our 3 starters. Namely, that is the learning stat. Now, the learning stat does do what it says when it comes to increasing the amount of research points you generate per day. The higher the learning, when you put them to research, they research stuff faster, all well and good. However, I don't know if this is due to a bug or a change in design, but the skill leveling bonus that that a dupe receives from their learning doesn't work. It does not impact positively or negatively their speed of skill leveling. So it is a lot narrower in terms of its usefulness to us. So we will want to keep that in mind with choosing our dupes here. Now, I am going to pick our first 3 dupes very carefully, and there's a couple of archetypes, a few roles that I have in mind for all 3 of them that we want to make sure we have covered without having to, be at the mercy of the random number generator, because you cannot just endlessly reroll dupes. Once you're in game, you have to wait in between them if you don't like the 3 that you are given. That being said, let's get started with our first selection. So the first dupe that I like to roll up here is what I call a smartest. A smartest would be primarily somebody who has at least a 4 creativity and a non-zero learning. I'm more interested in the long term for the creativity, but having a non-zero learning stat coupled with that is especially useful, because in the early game they're going to be researching, and by the time they're done researching, that's probably when they're going to be called upon to do their artist things, so that both of their skills would get used here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to roll until I get ourselves a good smartest, and then we'll proceed on. I'm not going to make you guys sit here and watch me re-roll dupes. Okay. Wow. Yeah, we got a smartest and then some. Whew. Right then. Narcoleptic is not my favorite negative trait. Normally I would probably pass on a dupe with narcoleptic, but this array of skills is really good. And the nice thing is, notice how despite all of these skill points racked up here, they're only considered level 5. Therefore, their decor expectation is that of a level 5. Meaning that they're not going to be seriously demanding on us just because they have all these skill points, because they are so well distributed. It's based on what skill is their highest. So, yes, this is a good person, and they are not named Meep. We shall name them after my loyal patron, Sino. Yes, I have on my Patreon, if you contribute at a certain level, you can get your name in the game, and that is still open for this particular run. So if you are interested in having a dupe named after you, check out my Patreon page. Right then, now the second person we are after here is someone who has a good construction. Yes, Meep has a good construction, but we want someone who is sort of dedicated to a good construction. Bonus would be a good strength. Yes, I know Sino has a good strength too, but he can't do everything. He's only one dupe. A really freaking good dupe, but only one. Right then, let us re-roll. Well, Dang it! Another narcoleptic dupe. We're going to have a lot of dupes just passing out here. Again, normally I'd pass on it, but early birds are really freaking good one to get as well. It boosts their skills without boosting their decor expectation in the morning. And we've got ourselves a 4 construction speed, a 4 strength. So he's not going to be super picky. So we're going to go with Abe. Well, not Abe. My boys, my real life sons have both gotten into this game like crazy. So I'm going to do them a little bit of a surprise and name some dupes after, well, our nicknames for them. So this one's going to be, let's see, Mummins. One of our nicknames for my oldest. Right then, our final person we're looking for is a good cook. You want a good cook fairly early. They're not needed immediately, but yeah, cooking is good. Really, that's all I'm really worried about for this one. That and maybe a good trait and a not so bad negative trait. No more narcoleptics. Thank you very much. I'll see you guys in a second. Okay. Iron Gut's not actually that good. But Scaredy Cat's actually pretty fine, because we are going to be having our dupes fighting anything anyway. Medicine's not too bad. I mean, it's kind of weak, but I took them for the cooking, so cooking it shall be. Nice and low expectations. Also, one other thing to note, the stress responses. Destructive, Ugly Crier, and Vomiter, these 3 I'm okay with. I do not like the Binge Eater. The Binge Eater is the one that gives me pause. Now, we're not going to be suffering too much with them. I have built-in long-term plans to deal with stress. But enough yammering. Let's pick a name for this. Let's see. Yeah, Space-Based Ficklewood. Let us begin. Okay, now, the number 1 thing that you need to do here is pause. The number 2 thing you need to do here is survey your territory. You are guaranteed to get these 5 blocks of oxalite and a this-shaped hole along with your printing pod here, and obviously the ration box with 20 kilocalories of stuff. Beyond that, and the little floor here, things are very random. And what kind of start you have can seriously determine not only the shape of your initial base, but how easy or difficult life is going to be for you. So, first things first we are looking for metal. Luckily, we are in luck. We have copper ore right here, right next to us. So metal is not going to be a problem for this particular base. Step 2, we're looking for sources of freebie food. We've got ourselves a Bristol Blossom over here and a flowering mealwood. Both of those are good. Right up here, we've got a couple of plants right here. Lots and lots and lots of Bristol Briars, which are great for our early game decor. So that's good. I'm happy with that. Third, you want to identify your sources of water. Not that you need them right away. More to the point, the sources of water early game are going to be sort of barriers to you. Oh, nice bit of food up there too. So we have this thing of water here, which is gonna be a little problematic, but it doesn't look like it's going to break through by itself. So we can keep it contained and left alone, and it won't bother us until we bother it. We've got this nice big pool of water, which is actually, yeah, this is fine. It's going to prevent us, and all the way down here too. This actually makes it pretty convenient to eventually marry these two together and make a giant reservoir. But I don't really see this as the water. The water can sometimes be a big pain in the butt, and actually sometimes be dangerous depending on its placement. But in this case, I think we're in good shape. Fourth item, algae. How much algae do we have in our vicinity? We don't need it immediately, but we've got a real thick band of it right here. That makes me happy. good smattering of it over here, good smattering of it up here. So we have time on our clock. Algae is time on your early game clock. Before you, it's basically a clock that counts down to you making sure you have your stuff together. Fourth thing, oxalite. Other than these 5, which are guaranteed, how much free oxygen do we get? We get a couple of blocks of it over here, a couple blocks of it up here. That's not bad. Block it over here. And more to the point, how much free oxygenated rooms do you have? We got this oxygen over here. This is all CO2, middle density here, but it's got some food in here. This actually could be a good CO2 pit. A little bit over here, actually highly pressurized, but we can dig down and deal with that in time. So I'm actually pretty happy with it. A little bit of an annoyingly placed sand, but we'll have to deal with that. All right, and the final thing that you want to keep in mind before you design your base here is turn on the temperature and look for an ice biome. We're not going to go digging towards it right away, but you want to know where it is. That looks like an ice biome right over here. Do we have... All right. So our ice biomes are up this direction. And that's good to know. That's very good to know. Okay. Now, let's get started. First thing to do, well, there's only really one thing to do, and that's to start digging. I usually will dig out this section right here just so this oxalite can get its oxygen into the air. But we have a couple of specific base designs built, and this is going to be sort of iterated as we go along here. Oh, one other thing about picking your dupes, don't take a can't dig it dupe in the very beginning, because it will slow your early game way down, painfully down. All right, so they have, for our first cycle, we've got 2 goals, two building construction goals here. Our first is to get a bathroom set up, and our second is to get our preliminary bedroom set up. So as far as those go, now one other thing that we need to pick and choose here is, where are our ladders going to be? Do we want the ladder on this side, or do we want the ladder on this side? And I'll show you why we have to decide sooner rather than later in due time. I think we want the ladder on this side. Although, no. We want this to be solid so we get a ladder further over here later on. Okay, so what we're going to do is, the building concept that I like to design my whole base with is known as a duplex. And I'll show you what a duplex looks like. A duplex is a 8x4 block with 2 little walls up like this. Actually, this needs to be over here like that. So this right here, this starting room is 1 room in a duplex. Now, what you do is you put 2 rooms sandwiched together, and then you put ladders on either side. So one of our first item here is to put another room over here, and I think I'm going to make this our bathroom. It is more important to get your bathroom down first before your bedroom. If something goes awry and your dupes take a while to build everything, being caught without a bed is not nearly as bad as being caught without toilets. So we are going to dig out this area. Now for the bathrooms are actually an exception to the 8x4 rule, in that they are actually going to be 1 tile higher, and I'll show you why. But this middle tile counts as 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Perfect. We do it 1 tile higher, like so. Yeah, I know I'm running out of stuff, but they'll get more of it soon enough. And now, will dupes be able to build this ceiling tile up here right away? No, but that's not the plan. This is just sort of, well, that is the plan. It's us planning this out. Oh, one other thing I forgot before we get started here is let's set our jobs. For cook, we will turn everybody off of cook except for our cook. For art, we will turn everybody off of art except for our artist. For research, we will turn everybody off of research except for our researcher. We might turn the Mummins back on for research once we get our supercomputer. And more importantly is for building, we are going to turn off building for everybody who doesn't have a good build. Now, we happen to get lucky with Sino here that Sino has a construction of 4. So I'm going to leave build on him. But anyone who doesn't have a good construction, turn it off for him. And keep it off for new dupes and only manually turn it on if they happen to have good construction skills. The nice thing about the construction is people who do not have the construction task will still deliver materials to planned items and also dig out tiles if there's one occupying that space already. So they'll prep the area for your constructor dupes, and that makes them a bit more efficient. Now, what are we doing down here? Well, we're going to be building our toilets, obviously. You can't have a bathroom without toilets. And I say toilets, plural. That's for a reason. Never only build one toilet. You want to build 2, even when you only have 3 dupes. And yes, 1 toilet is more than enough to serve the needs for 3 dupes. But trust me, there's several different reasons why you want that, and I'll show you in due time. Other reason for this construction is we build a second floor to this mini room. So we put these up here, and we get a little ladder up here. Now, what goes on up here is actually not that important immediately. That will come into play a little bit later. But for now, we just want to make sure that we get our... Oh, actually, it is important that we go digging up here a little bit more because there's dirt. Toilets will not function without a modicum of dirt. And since it's the beginning of the game, you're not necessarily going to be near a whole bunch of dirt right away. So we're going to want to dig this area out, even though we're not going to be building anything up here right away normally. Oh yeah, and here comes the sand. I hate sand. It's coarse and it gets everywhere. So, no, seriously, it gets everywhere. It's a pain in the butt. So once they dig out and finally, yeah, they're going to have to deal with a whole bunch of this freaking sand. But like I said, it's more important that that we get these bathrooms up and running before we deal with before we start dealing with their bedrooms. And also that we unplug our tube here so we don't suffocate. All right, so while they are working on that, let us get our bedroom assigned here. Now, since these 2 rooms are back to back to one another, we're going to need a ladder gap here. So what we're going to do is what we are going to do, I'm not going to build the ladder itself because we don't need it right now. We're not going up and down yet, but we want space for the ladder. But the way I like to do my ladders is I call them fat ladders. We want this column right here is where we're going to put our ladder. We want 1 space on either side of it before we start going into our next building. So 8 by 4, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 1, 2, 3, and like so. And here we are going to go ahead and plan out our cots. 1, 2, 3. We will want to dig our way over there. Now, what's most important is that they get these done. So you can mark the top for digging, but they'll prioritize getting these 3 things built first. And we want to get these 3 built before the end of the cycle. That way people are all set. And they don't have to sleep on the ground and get the sore back moodlet, which temporarily lowers their athletics, which makes them move slower. Now, unfortunately, since these are building tiles that are exposed here, they're going to prioritize finishing this up before they start on these. But that's okay. We should still have enough time. And again, it's not the end of the world if we miss out on doing that in time. Also, walling this off prevents us from losing too much oxygen or taking on too much CO2. We'll take care of this last little bit later. And like I said, we'll take care of our. Oh, that's the other thing. So in this little space over here, the dupes are going to come in here to do their business, and right now the decor is pretty awful. We're gonna do something about that to soften it up just a touch, so they don't have to get stressed out every time they use the potty. Let's speed things up a little bit. They should be able to finish this. I don't think I have any... no, I don't have any seeds available to me yet. But we'll get there. Once these are all built, then I'll start exploratory digging to get at some of these goodies over here. But I want to make sure that these things get completed first. Oh, that's the other thing. Prioritize food at a 6. That will help ensure that any random bits of food that you come across will make their way to the appropriate... And here comes the narcolepsy. Mummins, wake up! Wake up! It's like trying to... Oh, idlers! No idlers! Never idle. Idle bad. Okay, let's start planning out our exploratory digging. Here's what we're going to do. Dupes can leap 1 tile, and they can leap upwards 2 tiles, or 1 tile and up 1. So if we dig out like this, they can go high and get at this, and they can go low and get at these down here. Well, maybe not this, but we can dig these out. Well, no, not that one, because they need the ground. Also, when digging up muck roots and briar thorns here, dig out the square underneath them, not the thing itself. It's faster to dig up the square itself. Here we're going to dig ourselves a nice little tunnel. You need 2 tiles high for a dupe to get from one place to another. We'll dig that up. Any cracked squares you want to dig up, or go out of your way to dig up, because those contain goodies. They can leap over this 1 tile over here, so that's fine, without slowing them down too much. Yeah, we'll dig up here, and yeah, we'll dig these down here as well. Again, we want to go after those cracks. We also want to set that, and eventually that to harvest. You do not want to dig up wild plants unless you either need the seeds for farming or you need to make room. Alright, so one goes up, or they go down. Oh, and also we came across briar seeds. So to make sure your briar seeds get actually planted in a timely manner, plant them and then immediately make it a 6. Right then and there. So, you know, wake up, you're going to suffocate, dude. Maybe they can't make their way up here. Well, that's okay. We'll start on our ladder. Again, fat ladder. 1 space away from the building. And yeah, we'll put you down here. Now, this isn't going to do too much for our oxygen, but the nice thing is carbon dioxide weighs more than oxygen. So it's going to want to stay down here, and our oxygen's going to want to stay up. See how the upper part here has more oxygen? The lower part down here has carbon dioxide. That's on purpose. Oh, wait, they can't get to that because of the roof. Also, be careful about digging out any of these tiles, or the water pressure will start causing them to break. I'm okay digging this one out, but I am not going to touch any of these. I do not want to flood. Not yet, anyway. Alright, well, it's alright if we didn't get them right away. It will work for another day. Okay, now another thing to look at, I guess that would be number 6, is hatches. Do we have any hatches in the area? It does not look like we have any visible hatches. Oh, nope, we got a hatch. And not too far. Actually, this isn't too bad of a spot for a hatchery. Because this is going to just be more of a CO2 pit, even more so. So I'm okay with the hatch chilling down here. Okay, so yeah, let's let them finish that up. We accomplished our goals for the day. Next goals, and since it looks like we're going to be doing more with this ladder than this ladder, we'll develop this a little bit more, because I do want to dig down so we can get a true CO2 pit. We can also get at the plants down here. We can also start getting more rooms built, because we have more things that need to be done. Oh, speaking of food, make sure before your dupe's first meal, you go on here and you turn off meal lice, raw meal lice. Meal lice is a low-level food that can be made into a low-level recipe that actually makes it more efficient when it's cooked. So you do not want your dupes eating raw food, or raw meal lice. So turn that off and basically forbid them from eating it. All right, let's make sure we keep them busy. All right, I'm gonna tunnel the stairway down here, and again, because we are doing the fat stairway, you want one tile on either side to be dug out along with the staircase itself. I've seen a lot of people where they just dig out just the stairway and they just kind of burrow through. That doesn't let gas flow very well, and a lot of our design decisions here are being done with the flow of gas in mind. Let's dig these out just to make it so it's not quite as awkward. The other thing we'll want to do here is plan out our next room, which we can do down here. Oops. Yep, and here goes everyone. Here's the other reason for double bathrooms, is we can get double dumps going at the same time here. But there's even more reasons for double toilets here that I will show you as we go along. All right, now down here, I think a good thing is to have our now, especially since we have plenty of metal, we can start our research. So research requires two things. It requires, well, a research station, and it requires power. So our next duplex room here is going to have one of each. We're going to have a manual generator right here. We're going to have a research station, and we're going to put it right here. What do we put in the middle? Oh, I don't know. How about, since dupes are going to spend time in here, something to make the place look nice? Like that. Like I said, early game thing. Now, you might say, well, Pinstar, why don't you put another one over there? Just wait. Just wait. You're on the right idea, but just wait. Trust me on this. And, of course, we want to dig out the roof of it to get good airflow. The other room we want to plan out here, and actually we might as well make this the other side of this here, is a second bedroom. Although this might be, because of its proximity to the water, this might actually work better as our kitchen. So this might not necessarily be the best place for a second bedroom. In which case I might dig upwards to get a second bedroom, which is fine. But one thing at a time. You do not want to ADD your dupes too much, because it's better to get one thing done properly than 5 things not completed. Oh, one other thing that you're going to need for power, well, a couple other things, is a battery. Right now all we have is the tiny battery, and I'm actually going to put it up here. Couple reasons for it. It's a nice out-of-the-way spot. We don't need to, since it's a single small battery, you don't need to worry too much about the heat. But we do want to plan out our wires here. And I like to always run them through the walls here, because when the wires have a small penalty to decor, but when they're run through the wall, it cancels out that penalty. Oh yeah, with the hatch here, we want to make sure we pick up everything that everything worthwhile down here, because we do not want the hatch chewing on them, which is why we have the priority 6 food. We're also probably going to want to build a storage box for some of our critical items to keep it out of the hatch's mouth, because they will eat anything. Yeah, right now, yeah, we've got just tons of CO2 here. Hopefully we have the ability to get enough oxygen going here. And actually what I might do is cancel out that, because we're going to need an oxygen maker over here just to push out some of this CO2, so that the people in this room can just breathe. I'm going to be breaking my wire rule here for a little bit. No. We disable the building and put the threshold down to 10% until, well, actually the battery is ready, but we don't have anything. Actually, yeah, we can enable the building now. We have our battery and we have that. So now we can start getting oxygen in here, which is going to help it so that our guys are not constantly interrupting themselves, gasping for breath. It'll take it a little while to push that in there, but again, it'll have something for us, and we can get started on research very soon. Yeah, this is definitely needed. And that what this should do is this should push the CO2 down and pressurize it a bit more. See how the pressure is going up 617, 618 grams per set there? That's what this is doing, is it's pushing it down. And once we get these situated here, it'll flow even faster. Okay, and we have our research station at the ready. We're first things first, farming. I always start with farming research. It's the cornerstone to long-term survivability. So we'll let our smarty pants go at it, Sino, and he should get that going pretty quickly. Yeah, we can get at the rest of our food here. This will free this oxalite here, and we can start harvesting that. The other thing we're going to want to build is a storage container. I'm going to build one over here. Well, do we have anything? Is he nibbling? Well, I think he's nibbling. He might nibble on some of the copper, which is not ideal, or some sandstone. We want him to eat the sandstone. That place is lousy with sandstone. Yeah, we're not going to want to build rooms further down. Although, oh man, look at this. Now that's a carbon dioxide sink. Now, granted, it involves us breaking into the slime barrier, and we might get we will get some polluted oxygen bubbling up, but it's an option. It is a really viable option later on. Little bit more technology needed, but we're going to be in good shape soon. All right, what we're going to do with this storage container is we want to set it to accept stuff that we want to keep away from the hatches. We want raw metals, we want algae, we want seeds, and the consumable ore. The hatches poop out coal. That's the one thing that they don't eat, is the stuff they poop. So we don't need to worry about fetching that. All right, let's get started with a second bedroom. We're going to want to plan it out over here. And again, fat stairways. 1, 2, 3. Now this does technically break into this void, but then it seals it right back up, which is kind of what we want. We do not want to have all of our oxygen flowing into this vacuum. You know, we're not heating out of space, boy. Shut that door. But yeah, furniture, 2 cots. Because the goal here is that we actually want to free up this space here for decor items. We want 2 cots per room. We just put the 3 in here so that our day 1 dupes would have some place to go here. Oh yeah, we also want a flower vase. All right, looks like we're doing pretty well here. And our, this area is not breaking. I am going to probably next, burrow our way up so we can tap into all this lovely algae and also get at this extra food over here. But for now, we need the extra bedrooms. Refilling his dirt. Yeah, since he's higher learning, he plows through dirt pretty quickly, which also means he'll be plowing through research pretty quickly, which is good. Less time taken is better. All right, once we get that bed up, we can deconstruct this middle one and get ourselves another item here. Uh-oh. Wait, Mima, did I forget to... Oh, I forgot to rename Mima here. I'll see if I can rename them. I forgot to rename them after my other boy here. Koopy Doop. Again, nicknames for our kids. So that's Koopy Doop. We got the Mummins and Sino. And we have a new duplicant, a new friend. Are we going to take him? Not right away. Here's my tip for new duplicants. They always show up about when the day's about 2/3 done. If we were to take them right this second, yeah, they'd get right to work helping us out. But then they'd go to sleep. And when they're sleeping, they're burning calories. They're using oxygen. They're not being helpful. So what I usually do is when it comes time to accept a new dupe, I will wait until morning. With that, with farming situated here, I'm going to go ahead and get gas piping. I'll show you why in just a second here, probably in our next episode. But gas piping is like what I like to do number 2. And somebody please help Koopy Doop out before he suffocates. It's this damn sand. Zeno, wake up! Wake up! Thank you! All right, back to work, back to research for Sino. Doing pretty well with our calories. I'm happy with the amount of found food that we're pulling in here. Also, waiting for morning for your dupe gives you a lot more time to get an extra bed built for them so that they don't just randomly pass out on the floor because you didn't plan ahead for their bed. And we're back. Sorry about that. Real life Koopy Doop decided to come down to investigate. Anyway, so we should have this bedroom built. Well, yeah, hopefully. Yeah, let's unentomb that so we have at least 3 beds. Oh, why did I pick 2 narcoleptics? Why did I settle for narcoleptics? All right, folks. So, I hope you guys enjoyed this episode. And remember, we're going to start episode 2 with the selection of our new dupe. There is still room for the name in-game benefit if you want to get your name in-game. If you want to be this dupe could be you! Check out my Patreon page for more details on how to get your name in the game. So if you like this episode and you want to see more like it, go ahead and hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, and leave me a comment. Good, bad, or indifferent, your feedback's always welcome. So until next time, this has been Pinstar signing out. See ya.